Hello everyone and welcome to this new video about level design. Today we're gonna start a mini-series of 3 episodes on how to make a good tutorial. And to kick things off, let's talk a bit about a core notion for tutorial design, which is skill gating. Now, the reason I've decided to split this topic in several parts is because while designing a game tutorial is a crucial thing, it's also pretty complex. Basically, the tutorial is how you'll convey all the relevant knowledge about your game to the players, ideally in the most natural and enjoyable way possible. This balance between informing and entertaining can be really hard to find, and making a good tutorial is a real art that requires lots of tweaks and refinements in order to provide the gamers with the best possible experience. Of course, tutorial making is also closely tied to level design, since more often than not, you'll want the shape and contents of the first levels in your game to play an active role in teaching the players about the gameplay mechanics. The classical example is once again that of Portal, since this series of puzzle games is a sort of long-run tutorial that gradually shows you more and more mechanics and combines them in inventive ways to offer you ever new challenges. One of the strengths of these games is that they don't face you with a big tutorial panel at the beginning to tell you how to jump or create portals. Instead, it's up to you to experiment and learn by yourself, which is a great technique for having you interiorize and master game systems. A more scoped and yet cleverly designed tutorial level could be the fair at the beginning of BioShock Infinite, which reintroduces the various movement and shooting mechanics, delights the players with amazing visuals of Columbia, and of course quickly rebrings the concept of superpowers to the foreground via Vigors. But now time to refocus on today's topic and talk about the concept of skill gating. So when you think about it, any game is quite a big ball of concepts to apprehend. Even something as simple as Pong actually asks you to analyze and interpret what's on screen to get the current context, coordinate your hands to react appropriately and move the paddle, integrate the rhythm and the game pacing, and even understand the notion of an abstract score measure to rank and compare both players. And all of this is just for Pong. Stepping up to something like Super Mario Bros., with all the jump mechanics, the different enemy types, the secret passages, the world shortcuts, the timer, the coin pathways, the bonus items, or even worse, a big 4X game like the recent Dune Spice Wars, and its hundreds of data points everywhere, we see that games clearly require a lot from us as gamers. So coming back to our tutorial making process, a good question to ask yourself as a designer is how much of this ocean of mechanics should you show your players up front? Or to put it another way, how much can you temporarily hide to lighten the load without breaking the core gameplay experience? This idea of smartly limiting the scope and revealing the full breadth of your game only gradually is what we call skill gating. It's a sort of video game version of the famous saying, less is more. Now, this is not to say that your game should be simplified and stripped of all of its mechanics. These mechanics should still exist in the end. But the trick is to show them to the players at a slower pace, little by little, to avoid frightening them with an unclimbable learning curve at the very beginning. Let's be honest, this is not easy to do. In particular because it means that you, as a creator, have to perfectly master all of the mechanics in your game and the relationships and dependencies between them to properly assess what can be left for later and what needs to be introduced early on. Because remember that the point is still to show the juicy parts of your gameplay from the beginning to attract and keep the players hooked. So you must differentiate between the core mechanics of your game, the essentials that any player has to know in order to play your artwork, and the bonus ones. All these extra tricks and techniques that people may discover or be introduced to over time to further expand their game experience. In a sense, in that regard, MMOs are really great examples. Typically, in World of Warcraft, while moving your character around and fighting monsters to gain experience points is pretty much a mandatory thing, leveling up your fishing skills or entering a raid is more of an advanced part of the game experience. It's great that it's there, and many gamers consider it a vital chunk of the game, but newcomers can also ignore these mechanics for a while and start by learning the basics step by step. At this point, the question is, of course, how do you actually do skill gating in a game? How do you hide and then reveal mechanics? Well, an obvious but effective way to adapt the player's experience and gradually show additional mechanics is to just completely remove them from the user interface to begin with. For example, Minecraft literally waits for you to interact with something in the world to tell you about it. There is no preloaded knowledge, apart perhaps from using the keyboard and the mouse to move and punch, which has now entered the common video game lingua and is considered a prerequisite for almost every game. So in Minecraft, you don't have a crafting table panel until you have a crafting table, and you don't have a furnace interface until you have a furnace. You are free to roam about and discover mechanics in the order you please. There is no enforced learning path, but you're also not bloated with a wall of information at the start, so you can build up your understanding of the game at your own pace. And by the way, revealing new gameplay elements at a specific moment in the player's adventure is also a neat trick to subtly indicating the difficulty level of this mechanic. If you don't hear about a dungeon before finishing a specific questline, it probably means that it would have been too hard for you before anyway. Another common technique for skill gating is to keep your interface elements visible, but disable them until the player is ready to tackle this new challenge. This is very often the case in strategy games, for example, that offer tutorials with a guided walkthrough to the UI and unlock new clickable items as the gamer learns about the game's mechanics. Although this method of showing but disabling systems can overload the players with a lot of unusable info at the start, when it's done right, it can also tease you with upcoming mechanics and have you eagerly expect the next steps of your journey. But this is a topic for next time, where we'll continue our discussion about how to make a good tutorial by diving into the notions of tails and priming. So in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this quick tips and techniques tutorial about level design and that you've learned a few things about the concept of skill gating and why it's paramount to the tutorial making process. If you did, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel to not miss the next ones. And of course, don't hesitate to leave a comment with your own ideas for future level design tutorials. As always, thanks a lot for watching and take care.